Hey everyone, getting a semiconductor process engineering positions is so difficult in America because there are less than 50 companies in the all of America who are providing process engineering positions. So today I'm going to show you how do you build your resume if you're just out of grad school and trying to get six-figure salary with process engineering positions. And then I'm also going to show you some currently open positions in big companies and how do you tweak your resume according to those specific jobs. So let's jump onto the resume first. All right, I'm going to use a tool called WiseDoc today to go through our resume. And I already pre-filled all the content of the resume, which got me into a six-figure position about 3 years ago. And I improvised some details of this resume, which I believe that can help you to get interview calls. So let's get started. So starting from the first part, which is the personal info section. And again, I'm considering that you have a graduation degree. It could be master's or PhD is the most preferable one for process engineering positions. So considering that without any job experience, probably just an internship experience, considering this scenario, I'm going to go through all the key sections. So in the top section called personal info, just get started with your name and a tagline called a PhD in electrical engineering, but this is not completely necessary. It's just your complete personal choice. So let's see if you can also have you can always have a tagline, something like this one, but again, it's not necessary. So once you have your tagline, put down your email ID and phone number, make sure they are completely correct. And when you put your address, try not to put your entire home address with your apartment details and everything. It's not necessary. Recruiters only need this address just to make sure about your location, if they need to pay you any relocation benefits, etc. So that's the only thing they're looking for. They really don't need your apartment details and your house number and street number, all these. You can just put the city and the state you live in. Now there is one part which I would quickly like to share with you, which is COVID-19 vaccination. Again, if you go to Intel's job description or many other companies' job description, it says Intel strongly encourages employees to be vaccinated against COVID-19, and this is common thing for so many companies. So it's okay to go and say yes, yes in your COVID-19 vaccination and have that tag represented in your resume. So obviously you can choose any other method of having your tag over there, but it's okay to provide this saying that you're vaccinated for COVID-19, and that will just clear out these questions upfront. So there's nothing wrong in doing that. And then coming to the personal links, I would highly recommend you to add a LinkedIn profile to your resume, because almost all the recruiters will go through your personal links. Even if you do not provide it, they will search for you on LinkedIn. So might as well just provide it right here and be transparent. Now coming to other links like GitHub, which are like software related, even if you have those profiles, I would recommend you not have those over here. You can definitely put all the links you want, but it's not completely relevant to your job. So you can just take out this other profiles. I think LinkedIn should be good enough. And coming to the objective part, so there are some mixed opinions in the internet about how do you write your objective. Does it have to be very specific? Does it have to be very vague? I always had my objective when I'm applying for jobs. For example, in this particular scenario, I put about my interest towards creating display technology because I was applying for display technology position. And if I was creating a resume for etching position or deposition position, I always used to tweak this one. So it's not a mandated one, but it doesn't hurt to put any objective. So that's your personal info section. And moving on to the next one is education section. So I know you have a best GPAs and details maybe for your high school, middle school, undergrad. I would say it's not necessary, considering you have a Doctor of Philosophy or a Masters of Engineering. Considering you have these specific degrees, which are valued a lot more, you really do not need to put any other educational details. Unless you are from a really, really good university in your undergrad, like Stanford or something, you can add it. That doesn't hurt, but it's something which is not going to get you an interview call. What's important for you is to put your degree and a field you are in, and try to add your GPA. It's always going to be helpful, because the recruiters might be looking for your research experience and your work experience. That obviously carries a lot more weightage than your GPA of some 3.7, 3.8. But if you have a good GPA, recruiters will always take a look at, oh, this candidate has a good research experience and a GPA, so they are able to do multiple things successfully at same time. That's what they will get out of this thing. So I would say have your GPA over here. And moving forward to the next sections, let's say the skills section. So a lot of people put their soft skills in their resume, and trust me, there is really no validation for the soft skills, even when the person is interviewing you. So a quick learner and a good communication person, these are some things which you can portray during the interview with your answers. I would highly recommend not having any of these soft skills in your resume. That to it this high top of a resume, I don't think it's necessary. So you can just disable the soft skills. And coming to the other skills, I know that as a process engineer in chemistry or electrical or materials, you have two-sided experience tool skills. One is the hardware tools, and the other one is the software tools. It could be your FTTD, like a photonic based skill set, or Atlas Silvaco, which is like a semiconductor based skills software skill set, or a Cadian or Mathematica, MATLAB. So please separate these two out. If you have like one skills section and you put all the skills in there, MATLAB, deposition, lithography, everything, it's just gonna make it completely clumsy and frustrating for the recruiter. And there are times when people did not get the calls because they completely could not go through these skill sections. So segregate these into two separate subsections. So computer skills and the tools. Now, one thing to focus on in the tools is, as a process engineer, if you have a PhD or a master's research experience, as a process engineer, you must have been experienced with so many tools: etching, deposition, lithography, several kinds of deposition, optical setups, so many testings. But it's not worth it to put all these details. So, but it depends on the which particular your job applying to. I'm going to show this to you in several minutes about how do you tweak your resume depending on which positions. So let's hold on to that thought and come back to it in several minutes. Now, put the key skills you have and make sure you put these abbreviations. I'll tell you why. In the job description, where the hiring manager gives the job description to the recruiter, if the job description says CVD or EUV, and if you don't put if you don't put all these abbreviations without EUV, the recruiter would not know that you have the skill. So always make sure that you have both the expanded version and the abbreviation for your in your resume. So essentially your skills section should look like this. Tools, put all the key tools but not everything, and just populate everything that's not necessary. And then the computer tools, and make sure you provide these abbreviations too, because some people may recognize CVD and they might not know what it means. The recruiters might not know what it means. The hiring manager would. So you just need to make sure that you provide it comfortably for both. This is a real experience we have seen, and I recommend people putting both of these details. Now, this is the most important part of the entire resume, the skills section. So moving forward to work experience, that comes next. If you have any internship experience, if you do not have any internship experience, that's okay. You can proceed with research experience. So you can say the organization name and the address. Again, don't go with the complete address, just the city is fine. And provide couple of bullets and some details in the work experience you had. So literally the bullet should have few details. Point the bullet number one, write what is your project during your internship in one single line. So in my case, I worked on some pinhole detections in the CVD film. Okay, so if you're a process engineering applicant, then you know what I'm talking about. So first bullet, put about what is the title of your project during your internship, and second, put the factual details about what you researched during your internship, that you worked on specific films of 15 angstrom to 150 angstrom, some numbered factual details where you can quantify your success or impact or the conclusion of that particular project. This helps you a lot when the hiring manager looks at this resume, and if they feel that, oh, that's interesting, you might really get a call, a very positive call. So just 2 to 3 bullets, not more than that. What is the project? What are the factual details? And then if you have any achievement, you can put one single line about the achievement you have or the complete accomplishment in that internship experience. And that's it. That's all, which is good enough. And then coming to the research projects you have done during your PhD. So you must have done a lot of projects, successful and failure, and you can just put them as form of research experience in your resume. So there is something called projects in the sections. You can just take the projects and change your name to research experience, which I just like that name, and then follow the same methodology which we did for the work experience. Put your project title, keep it short and concise. So remember that if your project title is interesting, the hiring manager might read through the description. If that is not interesting to that specific person, they don't even read through the description. So make sure your project title is very short and simple and should explain something about it. So let's take an example. In my case, I put quantum dot micro LED. So it's simple, few words of what the project is about. And then in the description, I talk about bullet number one. What did you do? What is a problem statement? What is a major thing you're trying to achieve? That's the first bullet you want to say. In the second bullet, again, quantify or explain with the best of the verbal details of what did you achieve using this in this particular project. What is a novelty? So point number one, problem statement. What exactly did you solve or trying to solve in this particular research experience? And point number two, what exactly did you achieve or conclude in this experience? So and you can also have like a bullet number three, and you can put some quantifying details from your conclusion of research papers. But again, as concise as possible is preferred. So have all your key projects which are relevant to the job in this particular section, and I'm going to show you how do you tweak these resumes depending on the jobs you're applying for. Now moving to the management experience, again, this is kind of like a optional. You could actually put this into complete bottom, because when you are going for a process engineering positions, people are expecting you to have process engineering skills but not management skills. So I'm just going to skip this part out. I just put this in my resume about 3 to 4 years ago, and probably if I write my resume today, I might not even have this over here. So, but if you have any management experience even in your undergrad or after your undergrad, you can again put some details about this if they're really exciting enough. So in my case, I'm a CEO of Vicetalk, so I put this details, and I put few bullets about how many people I managed, and what exactly are we doing in Vicetalk, something like that. But again, if I would have applied for this job today, I probably would remove this section completely, and only present my process engineering position skills based sections. So coming to the publications, which is the last section, and then we can go to some actual job openings which are open right now in some big companies, and then we will see how do we tweak this resume depending on each job you're applying for. And it doesn't take much time, just few minutes. So coming to the publications, I know you must have had so many first author, second author, conference publications, research publications. I know you must have so many of these publications. You do not need to put all your publications in here. You can simply just rename the title of the section itself, that total publications, X number, and number of citations. Always say whatever citations you have and increasing, just to show people that okay, my citations are getting more, my research is valuable, so I would say try to write your publications title in this way, and have your few publications on the top. So in terms of the publication, how do you write the formatting of it? I would say don't spend too much time on that. You can just simply click the smart and probably type your name, and you can search, and this will basically search across Google about what all the publications you might have had, and then you can simply check some of the publications you want to put over here. So as simple as that, just go with this one, but again, try not to have too many publications in the list. Just you can put the total number over here. All right, so now that you have your resume completely created, these are all of the resume skills you have in your career, right? Now let's look into some currently open positions and how do you want to tweak your resume according to those positions. Okay, so I just opened few positions right now, one in Intel and other one in Samsung and other one in Applied Materials. So this is a position of dry etch process engineer in Texas, and it's in Samsung. So they have the position summary, roles and description, blah blah blah. But I would say just focus on the skills and qualifications wherever they provide this. Okay. So if you see in the skills and qualifications, they talk about the dry etch. Look at the keywords. Okay, look at the keywords. They talk about dry etch experience, and they talk about there is a wafer fabrication. Okay, and they have advanced statistical methods. Look at these keywords in these skills and qualifications. Now, how do you modify your resume to reflect the resume is ready for the Samsung dry etch process engineering position? So just simply go to your resume, and nothing to do in the personal info section, nothing to do in this education section. Now talking about the skills, this is a dry etch position. Now in your skills, I would say move all your etching based skills onto the top. So I'm going to put reactive ion etching in the first, focus and beam etching next, and then I'm going to say lithography should be next, because you do the etching after lithography. So I would basically want you to prioritize your skills according to this. Okay, so as soon as somebody sees your resume in Samsung, the first thing they will see is reactive ion etching, focused ion beam etching. So they will start seeing the etching based tools as your skill set in the sequence. Now that might interest them more than seeing the deposition based skills on the top. So now coming to the computer skills, so you saw that they need some statistical analysis based methods, etc. Now you have numerical FTD, let's say I have some Cadian tools and Mathematica. So among all the skills that you have, move all the ones which are relevant to the statistical analysis. It's the same concept as the etching tools skill set. So now once you did that, your skill section is all set, and your work experience, if there are not too many, that doesn't change so much. And talking about your research experience, so if you look into the research experience, identify which particular projects you worked on have the etching based skills and put them on the top. Okay, so a lot of times people say that, oh, your research projects should be in a chronological order of according to the dates, but it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter when I'm a H manager and I'm looking at a resume, all I care about is what skills you have related to etching, but not about how chronologically you ordered your resume. So it's definitely good to order it that way, but in this example, for this specific job, you might want to put the job description related skills onto the top, always onto the top, right? So in this example, I have this nano fabrication, which is closest related to the edge. So I'm just going to move this to the top and put the other things in the bottom. So, so now if I'm a recruiter and hiring manager, if I take a look, everything I see first is related to edge. This is related to edge. This is related to edge, and even the publications you might want to reorganize according to which publications are related to the edge first. So in this case, this specific publication is already related to edge, so I'm not going to touch that. And if you feel like some skills are completely irrelevant, like sputtering, it's not even that much required for a dry edge process engineering position. So I would just say just uncheck that and remove that if you want to make some more space in your resume and consolidate everything into as small as possible. So now once you uncheck this, and let's say nanoparticle analysis, you don't need that for etching, so uncheck that and then just click download, and it gives you a resume which you can apply for this specific position. So just go here, and this is in Workday, so you can apply to Samsung position. Now the next position you apply for, let's say Intel, which has module and yield integration engineer. So simply go to the qualifications again. I think there are so many details in job description. I would highly recommend you to go through those details, because sometimes they provide those keywords, but qualifications will have a lot of keywords which you might be interested in. And if you see the preferred qualifications, it says semiconductor devices and circuits, microscopy, testing, and architecture, and device physics, so lab testing. So you have all these specific keywords in Intel position. So again, go back to skills, and they said optical setups is required, the microscopy, right? So make sure you keep this, if not on the top, at least like in some position like 3 to 4. And it's a position which they put very vague: module integration and yield engineer, which is like combination of kind of everything. So now what do we do? You might want to make sure to put each of the skill set in a order. So right now you have a etching, and then don't have etching right after it, just move it to the bottom. So I would say have the lithography, that's fair, and then have the deposition and optical setups. And I don't think you would need electron beam lithography or focus ion beam etching for that matter. You will need UV lithography, so let's put that on the top. So looks like they require you to have some testing based skills, which is like metrology. So I would say just add one more skill set called defect metrology, to make sure that people understand that you do the testing. And it's very obvious, right? If you have a PhD working on several research projects, you most probably you'll be working on some defect metrology based work. So just try to have those things over here, and it makes the recruiters easy for going through all the skill sets which Intel needs of this specific position, right? And coming to the research experience, again, the same process will go for research experience as well. So try to move the ones which are relevant to this particular job. For example, the quantum dot micro LED, and you know that Intel manufactures the processors. It doesn't really manufacture some LEDs or display technology. So you can really just move this into the complete bottom, or slightly above the DNA sensing, and try to have light matter interactions and nanofabrication on the top, because they are very much relevant to this specific position. Now, once you have this one, then just click download again and it will give you one more file. Just go and apply here. I think it's very important that you tweak, just check and uncheck several things, just drag around and drop in several positions to reprioritize your resume. It's very important to do that so that your resume is specific to that particular position. This will really matter when the hiring manager checks it. Now, once you have both of these files, I would say just put these two together and see how does your dry edge position in Samsung, the resume looks different to overall process engineering position in Intel. So if you find there is some difference and one of these two helps for that specific position, there you go. That's your secret recipe of creating a good resume for that specific job, right? So I do have one more thing in the list for applied materials, but because of lack of time, I will have to skip that. But I would say have your resume which is specifically designed for each and every job description. Take the keywords from job description and see if you are prioritizing those specific skill sets and projects in that sequence in your process engineering position. So this is very important to do because you don't have any existing work experience to attract and let people give you a six-figure salary. So this is a very important part in drafting your overall resume for process engineering positions. So thank you for watching this video. If you have questions about how do you perform in the interviews or what kind of questions and how do you answer in the interview, all this, please put in the comment section. I will create one more video with all the questions you ask. If you would like to see more content like this, please push the subscribe button and share it with your friends, and we will keep adding more videos. Thank you and good luck.